But here we go. Here they are right here. And what do you guys notice? What's jumping out right away in this picture right here? What are you noticing probably right away? What are you noticing? What's jumping out at you guys here? Yeah, there's Pluto. There's Pluto right there. So what I'm getting at here is that Pluto is not a planet. It's a trans-Neptunian object, which is basically like an asteroid where it's cold enough to have ice mixed in. So Pluto is much closer to being an asteroid than it is to being a planet, okay? But it's not an asteroid because it has ice, right? It's a trans-Neptunian object, okay? Now, let's get into Pluto, okay? Let's get into Pluto. Pluto, it's big enough to be round, okay? It's big enough to be round, okay? So to keep that in mind as we talk about this. Now, okay, where is it? It's in the Kuiper belt, right? It's in the Kuiper belt. Now, don't overthink this. If you're a person on Earth and you've just discovered the Kuiper belt for the first time, how many objects, if you found the first thing in the Kuiper belt, how many things would we know about in the Kuiper belt at that point? If you have just found the very first thing that we ever found in the Kuiper belt, how many objects would we have known about in the Kuiper belt at that time? 1, right? 1. If you found the first one, you found one thing. And that's what happened. When we first found the Kuiper belt, we found one thing. Spoilers, that one thing is Pluto, okay? That one thing, that first thing in the Kuiper belt we found was Pluto, okay? And remember, what shape did we just say that Pluto was? What shape did we say Pluto was? Round, right? Round, yes. We said it was round. So, you've just discovered this thing. You have found one thing. It's round, and it's orbiting the sun. What do you think you just found? It's one thing, so it looks like it has cleared its orbit out. It's round, and it's orbiting the sun. What does it look like it is? Looks like a planet. Now, do we discover planets very often? Do we discover planets very often? Is that just a thing? Like, oh yeah, we found another one. Or at least, 100 years ago, were we finding planets very often? No. Especially not in our solar system. We don't find planets very often. So, if you think you've just found a planet, you're going to be pretty excited, right? You're going to be pretty excited. And you're going to tell the news to all the other astronomers. And they're going to get pretty excited. And they're going to tell the public. And what's the public going to do? What's the public going to do when they hear that we have discovered a new planet? How are they going to feel about that? They're also going to get excited, right? Everybody got super excited. This was a big media event. It was a big PR win for astronomy. In fact, there were actual parades held around the world for the discovery of this planet. And people decided, like they were kids deciding, wow, that's cool. I want to be an astronomer now. And so money started pouring into astronomy because of this kind of discovery. People were excited about astronomy in a way that they had not been for a while. And so it was, like I said, a giant PR win for astronomy. It started bringing that money in. They even had a contest to name the planet. They had a contest to name the planet. They put out like radio ads like, hey, you could be the one. Name that planet. And a little kid won. Oh, it was so cute. And the little kid named it Pluto. Okay, do you guys know why? Do you guys know why the little kid named it Pluto? Why did the little kid name it Pluto? Why Pluto? Yeah, so here's the thing. Here's the thing. Yeah, we typically think, oh, if it was a little kid, they probably named it after the dog from Disney, right? Like Mickey's dog, Pluto. But it turns out it's the other way around. Mickey's dog was named Pluto shortly after the discovery of Pluto, of the planet Pluto, because Pluto was such a big meme at the time. Everyone's like, yeah, this planet rocks. Disney was like, oh, you know what would be a good move for us? Let's name our new character after that thing that everybody really likes. Everybody really likes that new planet Pluto. Let's just name our dog Pluto. So Pluto the Dog is named after, just a couple of years after the discovery of Pluto, was named after Pluto to try to get in on some of that Pluto money, right? To get in some of that Pluto publicity. And by the way, just real quick aside, it's super messed up that Mickey has a dog, right? That's super messed up, right? Like, what is the deal with Pluto? I mean, Goofy's a dog, right? Goofy's a dog. Mickey has a friend. Mickey has friends who are dogs. And he has a dog. What is that? What is that? I don't know. That's messed up. I don't think Pluto should own people, okay? So what can you do? Anyway, so why did the little kid name it Pluto? Pluto is a Roman god. Pluto is a Roman god. Do you guys know what Pluto is the god of? The Roman god of Pluto? Or the Roman god Pluto, do you know what he's the god of? Yeah, he's the god of death. Yes, he's the god of death in the underworld. The Greek name for Pluto is Hades. So this little kid is like, oh, you know what? Let's call it the god of death. Okay? It's the death god. Let's name it Pluto. Okay? Which is also a little weird. But it does make sense. Okay? This little kid, why did he know this? I don't know. I guess he must have just been, I'm guessing that they read about Roman mythology and read about Pluto. Why did he pick Pluto specifically? I don't think he was just like into death. It turns out that if you actually look into Greek and Roman mythology, what's the underworld like? It's dark and it's cold. And what's Pluto like? It's dark and it's cold, right? Pluto's dark and cold, like the underworld. So the little kid's like, oh, there you go. Let's call it hell, essentially. Let's call it Greek hell. Pluto is also the name of hell in Roman mythology. So, there you go. Creepy name, yes. Now, let's fast forward a little bit, okay? Let's fast forward it. Again, we thought we found a planet because it was round and it was orbiting the sun, and because it seemed like it was alone, it looked like it had a fully clear orbit. But then, our telescopes got a little better. And also, people started looking in that region a little bit more because Pluto, right? And here's the problem. We found another one. We found another object that was almost identical to Pluto, okay? And then we found another one. And then we found another one. And then we found another one. And then we found another one, and 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 another one. And here's the big problem. When we looked at them, Pluto was not unique lots and lots and lots of the other ones that we found out there were nearly identical to Pluto. Okay? And then, here's the kicker. We didn't just find another one. We found a bigger one. We found a bigger one. We found a few of them that were bigger. Okay? Yeah, they do have kind of creepy names. If you do know your mythology, a lot of the names of these objects are all stuff that has to do with hell in Greek and Roman mythology. Like the river Styx right here. Nyx means night. This is another word for this is Cerberus. This is the three-headed dog that guards hell in Greek mythology. They got all those kinds of names. But yeah, we found a bigger one and a bigger one and a bigger one. The biggest one we found is called Eris. It's called Eris. That's Eris. And here's the thing. At this point, we know about millions of objects. We know about millions of objects. So here's the question. Did Pluto clear its orbit? Did Pluto clear its orbit? They all hang at Hot Topic. Yeah, I can see that. And I can say that because I buy a lot of clothes from Hot Topic. Yet clearly Pluto did not clear its orbit. There are millions of other objects, and here's the real important part, just like Pluto in the Kuiper belt alone, right? And that's not even including the ones that are out in the Oort cloud, right? So Pluto is not unique in its orbit. There's thousands and thousands of other Pluto. Even if you just include the round ones, there's thousands of other Plutos out there. And none of them is big enough to clear out that orbit. They're all just one little piece of a belt. And, again, Pluto's not even the biggest round one. So what is the only thing special about Pluto? What's the only thing special about it? Amongst all of these Kuiper belt objects, what's the only thing special about it? It's the first one we saw. The only thing special about it is it's the first one that we ever saw. And some people say, oh, but it's got a moon. There's a thing orbiting it. Well, all throughout these belts, you'll have two things close enough together to have a smaller one orbit a bigger one. It's not unique. That's not unique either. There's lots and lots of that going on also. It's just the first one we ever saw. And check it out. Did it have to be the first one we ever saw? Did Pluto have to be the very first one that we ever saw? Yes or no? And this is the important distinction here. Did it have to be the first one? No, it didn't. So let's say Pluto was like right here. Remember, there are thousands of other ones in all directions. So what if on the day the guy discovered Pluto, what if he hadn't done it that month? What if he had done it 6 months earlier? He would have been on the other side of the sun, and he'd be looking over here, and the first one he ever would have found probably would have been one of these over here on the opposite side from Pluto, and we would have called that one Pluto. So Pluto's over here. That one over there could have been Pluto. And here's my question. How many of you guys, are any of you mad that this guy over here is not a planet? Are any of you guys mad that that round thing orbiting the sun over there is not a planet? Is anybody mad about that? No. Nobody's mad that that's not a planet. Nobody's mad that Eris isn't a planet, right? Nobody's mad that Eris isn't a planet, and Eris is closer to being a planet than Pluto is, because it's even bigger. It has even more gravity, right? Nobody's mad that any of these other ones are not a planet, but they're just as planety as Pluto is. Pluto's only special because it's the first one we had ever seen. That's the only thing special about it. Does that make